Good evening and welcome everyone to day 97 of this 21-day session. It is good to reconnect with many of you all again. And those of you who are here for the first time or have perhaps missed a few classes recently, you can always watch recordings of these sessions on YouTube. The link will be posted in the chat soon. You can also request a one-on-one session with an experienced practitioner of Sahaja Yoga in the breakout rooms. And if you have already been assigned to a mentor, you can always ask to change your mentors, or you can ask for additional mentors. So please feel free to ask. So if you've been coming to these sessions, one of the ongoing goals, as you know, is to have as much of sustained periods of silence as possible. So we'll be having meditations with longer pauses, longer periods of silence. Now, the theme for today's meditation is called Receiving the Love of the Divine, which means we will discuss how we can open up our hearts to receive that love of the divine and see how it is experienced, especially through meditation. So the format for today is we'll do a foot soak with some guided meditation. We'll listen to a talk by Shri Mataji, and then we'll have some music and some additional meditation in the second segment. And I should have introduced myself first. My name is Sudeep Hegde. I live in the town of Clemson in South Carolina. And I work here at Clemson University as an assistant professor of industrial engineering. And I have been practicing Sahaja Yoga since 2008. And my co-presenter today is Poornima Kirby. So I will let Poornima introduce herself. Hi, Poornima.
Hi, Sudeep. And hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all this evening. I'm also a longtime practitioner of Sahaja Yoga meditation, 30 plus years at this point. I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm a freelance actor, teacher, and writer. And I'm looking forward to being with you a little bit later on in this evening session with some music and a guided meditation.
Absolutely. Thank you, Poornima. We're really looking forward to your music. And one more thing to add is Poornima will also be guiding us in one of the treatments that we use in Sahaja Yoga, which is called a hand massage. You can massage your hand on different chakras that are represented on your fingertips and around your palms. If you have some coconut oil or olive oil handy, if you're able to have it in a bowl like that, a small bowl for the latter part of this session, that would be great. But if you do not have oil ready, that's fine too. You can do the massage without the oil. So, all right. So with that, let's get started. We will start with the foot soak. So hopefully you already have your foot soak apparatus ready. It's a tub of water and some salt in it, and some fresh water on the side to rinse off your feet later. So let's start by sitting comfortably with our back straight. Can keep our palms open on our lap. Let's bring our attention inward. And as we always do, we will start the meditation by raising the energy, the Kundalini, along the central channel. We will do so by raising the left hand up the spine like this and moving the right hand let the right hand wrap around it. So this symbolizes the movement of the energy along the central channel. So we bring it up overhead and we tie a knot over the head to establish the energy there. So we'll do this 3 times. So same thing, second time, we will tie 2 knots over the head, the second time. And the third time, we will tie 3 knots. And then we will balance our chakras by bringing the energy of the left to the right and the right to the left. So we'll move the right hand in a pair of arches like this at the level of each of the 7 chakras. So we'll start by bringing the right hand near the left hip, raise the energy of the left, make an arc, bring it down all the way to the right, and retrace the path, make a nice big arc from the right to the left. So we'll do this pair of arcs 6 more times, balancing each of our main chakras one by one. And now, before we put our feet inside the water, we will what we call vibrate the water by channeling that energy, our vibrations that some of us, or many of us, are probably already feeling over our heads and through our hands. We'll direct it to the water by just making these clockwise motions with a hand towards the water and the salt. You're basically invoking that the power of the sea element into this water and salt and vibrating it so that it becomes a fit instrument to cleanse us, to cleanse our subtle system. So now we can put both our feet inside. Let's take a few deep breaths. And as we breathe deeply, let's introduce a pause between inhaling and exhaling. So we breathe in, hold for a couple of moments, breathe out, hold for a moment or two, and breathe in again. We continue breathing in this pattern for a little bit. Let's now put the right hand towards the earth. And let's feel a connection with Mother Earth. Like we are touching her, feeling her warmth, but we're also connecting to this vast power of this element that supports us. Upon which we are but a speck. Let's feel that humility and the gratitude for Mother Earth. And ask her to cleanse our Mooladhara chakra, which is the first chakra at the base of the spine. Quality is innocence. We also pray to Mother Earth to clear our left energy channel, which is the subconscious, which is a repository of all our memories, emotions, desires. Mother, please take away any impurities in my seeking, in my desire. I surrender my emotions to you. I surrender all unnecessary memories, and influences from the past that prevent me from being in the present, being in the state of the spirit to you. Bring the right hand back. We raise the left hand towards the sky by bending the arm at the elbow. And we ask the air and the ether elements to take away all the excess heat from our right energy channel. Which is governed by the conscious mind. That drives all conscious, mental, physical activities. Let me be detached from any identification with any of my actions. Words or thoughts. Bring the left hand down. Just place the right hand on the heart. And say, I am the spirit. Not this body, not this mind, not these thoughts, not the ego, nor intellect, nor emotions. I am pure, absolute awareness and bliss. Let me feel the love of the divine in my heart. And bring our hand back down. Place our attention at the top of our head. And let's just be there. In silence. If there are thoughts coming, you can always say, I forgive. I forgive everyone. I forgive myself. I forgive every thought. So we can now conclude the foot soak segment. We will rinse off each of our feet one by one. We take them out. You can set aside the foot soak bucket. Sit comfortably. Your feet on the ground, or you can sit on the floor, whatever you're comfortable with. And let's listen to talk by Shri Mataji. Let's try to keep our attention at the top of our head as we listen.
Now, actually, in the movement of consciousness, when human beings were born, what they started sorting out everything on mental level. Everything on mental level. And whatever works on mental level, it works out in a linear manner. Like, there is no sustenance in that. If something starts moving in a linear way, it falls off, again recoils back. That's why today we are shocked. We have evolved so much, we have developed so much, we are supposed to be developed people, and then how is it we are on the brink of a shock? Why are we so upset? What has gone wrong with us? Where did we go wrong? Because we tried to solve our problems through mental efforts. Anything, take your politics, take your economics, is nothing but a mental effort. For example, economics says that wants in general are not satiable. That means there must be some want which is satiable, and we live in the relative wants which are not satiable. Now, what is that want which is absolute, which will satisfy us? And that want is represented here as this triangular. In the triangular bone, you can see the Kundalini. That is the pure desire, the pure desire to be one with the divine. And unless and until that desire manifests, all your wants will be changing from one to another. Like today you would like to have a house, tomorrow you would like to have a car, then day after tomorrow something else, then a helicopter, then an aeroplane, it will go on like that. But actually, to have your all wants satisfied, there is one want which is kept sleeping, as they say, because it has not manifested in the triangular bone, which is to be awakened, which is to be manifested. Now just imagine this bone is called as sacrum. Means Greeks also knew that it is a sacred bone. That's why they call it a sacrum. You can see the rising of the Kundalini, you can see the pulsation of the Kundalini, you can feel the percussion of the Kundalini, like lap, as heart is. In some people it is quite a lot. And then you can feel the cool breeze coming out of your head. Now what is this Kundalini within us? The spirit is in your heart. But what about the Kundalini? Who is she? She is the Holy Ghost. She is the representation or the reflection of the Holy Ghost. But if you ask anybody else, they say, no, we don't know about Holy Ghost. It's a mystery. In Sahaja Yoga, nothing is a mystery. Everything can be explained. Now, what is the Holy Ghost is? The Holy Ghost is the primordial mother. Is the mother. Primordial mother. But people never talked about mother. They talked of the father and the son. Now, imagine a father and a son and no mother. It is absurd. Have you seen any father and a son without a mother? Such an absurd situation comes in that people accept it because it's all mental. Somebody tells you, no, it's a mystery, there's no mother, people accept it. But there has to be a mother. And this is the time of Aquarius, what we call in Sanskrit Kumbha, meaning the Aquarius is the Kundalini, where she nourishes, where she cures you, she redeems you, she guides you, counsels you. And this is the time of the mother. We had the time of the father, then of the son, and now this is the time of the mother, where she has to nourish you, where she has to take you to your ultimate goal, that is the spirit. What I'm saying is not meant for women or men. It's meant for every one of us, that we have to become like a mother, like a divine mother, like a person who can nourish people, who can give them love, affection, attention, perseverance, forbearing. And this is only possible for a mother to do it. And that motherhood should be awakened in every human being. I would say Abraham Lincoln who was a great person like that. After that also, we have had so many great people in this world who have been like that. You can see in our country, we had Mahatma Gandhi. We had many people of that temperament who were soothing, nourishing, curing, and helping others in such a way as a mother would like to nourish her own children. So this sense of nourishment has to come within us, but we have no power of nourishment. And that only comes when your spirit starts manifesting through you. When this power rises, she manifests her power of nourishment. She actually nourishes your chakras. She is the one who nourishes those subtle centers which look after the growth centers. She is the one who cures. She is the one who guides, because she informs you what's wrong with you. And she's the one who counsels you. Because once you become collectively conscious, then you start feeling the cool breeze in your hand, and this becomes like a computer. No, the Kundalini itself, because she's the primordial mother. She's the primordial. She's the primordial. See, you must understand, she's the Adishakti. She's the primordial mother. And she works throughout. She is the witness of the last delivery. So she works throughout. I mean, there's nobody else who works it out. But because you are enlightened, you do much faster. You are accelerated. At that point, you are accelerated because of your enlightenment. The acceleration takes place much faster. To look at it, looks like Kundalini, but it is complete Om. It is a complete force, the reflection of the divine love of God, which is the power of God. Complete, because God himself separates from his power and becomes the spectator, and the power of God divides itself into three and becomes the creation. And the whole thing is the Kundalini. The Kundalini is, they call as residual, because she manifests all that, but still she's complete. She's complete, and then she reflects this. So throughout she works it out. Of course, in you is the reflection of that primordial Kundalini. It's a form of the primordial mother. She becomes that form. Say now, I'm your teacher, but also I'm a wife, I'm a grandma. In the same way, she becomes the Kundalini.
Let's remain in silence for a couple moments. Absorbing what Shri Mataji has said. So now if we have some oil nearby, we can bring it close by and make it handy. If you have it in a bowl, like I do, you can take your right hand and draw a clockwise circle over the oil, just the way we do over the water when we foot soak. This is to awaken the purifying qualities of this oil. If you don't have any oil, don't worry about it. But we're going to be using this oil and rubbing it into the different parts of our palms and fingers that reflect the subtle system of chakras within us. The most important thing as we do this is our attention. So even if you don't move your hands at all, it's important to ask ourselves this question: how much am I willing to receive the love and the help of the divine energy, which is the Kundalini that's flowing within us? Am I willing to receive help? And hopefully, in asking that question, we can feel a subtle kind of blooming in our heart, an opening. A feeling, yes, I'm willing to enjoy my life. And I'm eager for that. So go ahead and take the oil. You don't need much. And you're going to go ahead and massage at this part of your palm, the base of your palm. Spend a little time on the left hand and a little time on the right hand. And as you massage there, you can say inside yourself two things. I am willing to embrace my innocence. And I am willing to receive the guidance of my wisdom. These are the qualities of this chakra. I'm willing to embrace my innocence. And I'm willing to follow the guidance of my own wisdom. You can take a little more oil and begin to massage all along each thumb. So starting down in the pad of the thumb and working your way up through the knuckle and to the tip of each thumb. Here, again, we can say two things. O Mother Kundalini, I am willing to receive your love in the form of pure knowledge. And I am willing to receive your love in the form of pure attention. I'm willing to receive your love in the form of pure knowledge and pure attention. And I'm willing to embrace the divine creativity within me. That playful spiral. You can take some more oil and begin to massage the central finger, middle finger, which is for the Nabi chakra. It's also for the middle of our being. And as you massage each hand on this finger, we can say inside, I open myself to receive the love of the divine in the form of peace, contentment, and generosity. I open myself to receive the love of the divine in the form of peace, contentment, and generosity. You can shift your hands to massage here in a circle around the palm. This is also a part of this third chakra. It's the area around it known as the void, or sometimes called the ocean of illusion. And what lets us cross this ocean is our dedication to our teacher and to our inner teacher, which is this divine and motherly energy of the Kundalini. So as you massage here, we can say within ourselves, I embrace the teachings of my Mother Kundalini. I'm willing to embrace the discipline of the divine. It's totally different from any outer rules and regulations. It's a discipline that's innate. Like every tree has a pattern inside it for each leaf. We have a pattern inside for our spiritual growth. So by holding to it, we become more and more receptive to that which frees us and keeps us steady. So we can say, as we massage here, I embrace the innate discipline of the divine. Now you can begin to massage your pinky fingers, which are the fingers for the heart chakra. As you massage here, let yourself take a nice deep breath, hold it for a moment, and then release it out. All the chakras are shown like lotuses, flowers that unfold. But the heart really is like a flower. It cannot be forced. It has to unfold of its own wish. Here we can say very simply, I'm willing to receive the love of the divine. As a flower unfolds to receive the rain, I'm willing to receive, I'm open to receive and express the love of the divine. You can bring your hands to start massaging your pointer finger on both hands, which represents the Vishuddhi chakra, this throat chakra. As you massage, you can say within, I embrace the sensitivity to the truth. The divine vibrations that we feel on our hands give us clarity. But we have to be willing to receive those intuitions and those messages. So as you massage there, you can say within, I embrace my own sensitivity to the truth. You can massage your ring finger now. We can say within, I am willing to receive the divine love in the form of silence. I surrender all my thoughts. I surrender to the divine love in the form of silence. And finally, massaging the center of your palms. Here we can make a request of this Mother Kundalini within us. Please remove in me all the obstacles to my oneness with this divine and loving energy. Just rest your hands open now. And we'll meditate in silence for just a few moments, seeing how much we can receive with our hands and with our whole being of this love. We'll complete our meditation by once again raising our Kundalini energy and putting the bandhan of protection, letting these familiar gestures still express our gratitude and openness to be protected, be nourished by the loving energy of the Kundalini. So the left hand rises in front of the body, the right hand wrapping around and tying a knot at the crown of the head. Repeating this a second time, tying 2 knots. And a third time, tying 3. Expressing our wish to sustain this state. Then the left hand rests open and the right hand arcs over the body and back 7 times. Creating a kind of energetic temple around this state of joy. So we have a few announcements. There's going to be an intermediate Sahaja Yoga seminar in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey on the weekend of November 4th and 5th. It's near New York City, and it's going to be a wonderful opportunity to take all this learning that many of you have been journeying through for quite a while now to a much deeper level in person with fellow Sahaja Yoga practitioners. You'll get to meet some of the teachers you've seen on Zoom, and it's going to be a really profound and joyful experience. So hoping many of you can join, and the information, the link is also in the chat. So you can click on that so you have it open. And this is a picture of the location in Ridgefield Park. This was actually Shri Mataji's residence for a while, and it's been a meditation center and a kind of retreat for many years now. It's a really beautiful, peaceful place. It feels like home when you get there. You can feel the love of the divine for sure in that space. So I hope a lot of you will get the chance to experience it. As always, the course schedule is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays for the longer meditations, and foot soaks on the alternating days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time, always the same Zoom link. And the next one we have coming up on Sunday is on the theme of being honest with ourselves, which flows quite naturally from tonight's journey. And you'll be using candles to clear out the left channel. If you'd like to request a mentor or see some of the recorded sessions, feel free to ask in the chat, and also you can join the WhatsApp group here. And right now, if you'd like some help in a breakout room, there's Sahaja Yoga teachers standing by. So feel free to request that in the chat, and you'll be assigned to a breakout room for some personal help and personal questions. And in the meantime, Sudeep and I will be here doing a little bit of a Q&A on tonight's theme. So Sudeep, welcome back.
Thank you for that very nice meditation, Poornima, and the music. That was wonderful. And if you don't mind, I just had one kind of spontaneous question.
Sure.
So, what is the name of the instrument that you played?
It's called a hammered dulcimer.
Okay,
These are
the
the little
hammered dulcimer.
hammers.
Okay, it sounds beautiful. In fact, it sounds very similar to an Indian instrument called the santoor, which is, I think, the Indian form of a dulcimer.
Yeah.
And I was just curious how, because it's not a very commonly found instrument, so even in the West. So how did you come across it, and how did you decide to learn it?
What happened to me is I got enchanted by the name of it because I don't know if I ran across it in a book or somewhere I heard the word dulcimer and I was like, dulcimer, that sounds cool. And I found out it means sweet, something that has a sweet sound, because dulce, it means sweet.
Like in Spanish, dulce,
Yeah. And so a friend surprised me with it, and I thought, wow, I guess I'd better learn to play it because now I have one.
Okay.
And yeah, I discovered that it was quite an atmospheric and meditative instrument. And yes, very similar to the santoor. I used to listen to recordings of santoor when I was little, when I would meditate, and find them so joyful. So it's amazing how the connection just happens, you know. Just off of getting enchanted with the name of something, then somehow it finds its way into your life.
It definitely sounds very, I mean, it was very meditative. And if I remember correctly, so as we know, there are different musical scales and musical instruments are associated with each of our chakras, right? They resonate with specific chakras. If I remember correctly, the santoor is the instrument for the Sahasrara, along with the sitar. So the dulcimer is, it's definitely resonant with the Sahasrara because it's a version of the santoor.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sorry, that was just not to digress too much, but I wanted to get that off my. I was really curious, so thank you for doing that. So.
No worries. Yes, maybe others were curious too. So you have to follow the impulse. And yeah, I wanted to ask you, on this theme of receiving the love of the divine, what that has been like for you in your life. Is it something that comes easily, or how does it show up in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So I'll answer the second question first. Does it come easily? No, it doesn't. Because I think I tend to be very kind of rational-minded, very, at least I was very much when I was a seeker, thinking, overthinking, trying to figure things out logically and so forth. So to me, love was more of just an emotion. But what I realized after several years in Sahaja Yoga, that love of the divine is more than just a feeling or an emotion that we otherwise relate to at a very human level. It's much deeper than that. It's actually hard to describe in the sense that it opens you up. It opens just new dimensions in your being, in your consciousness. I really understood what it means to open your heart, because you can literally feel an opening and a cool breeze coming out of your heart, and it's accompanied with this profound peace, this divine love, and it comes, at least to me, I've experienced it when I gave up trying to figure things out mentally, and when I was just bogged down. Like I couldn't do it myself anymore. Even just thoughtless awareness wasn't enough. I had to open up my heart and felt it. I know that's not a complete answer, but it's really hard to describe what divine love is, but until you feel it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it resonates with me what you're saying, and it connects to the talk that we heard of Shri Mataji. You know, the difference between trying to figure something out in a mental way, which is so linear and kind of boxy, versus opening your heart to receive love. And this English language is so imprecise, right? Because love, you know, we can be like, I love chocolate, you know, it's the same word that we're using for this divine love that is like a force that acts, you know?
Yes.
And if I was to answer the same question, I think that like the way that it shows up in my daily life is these moments of like surprise, like something has like acted in my life, like a gift, or like a wake-up call to, you know, how beautiful things are, or how futile all these little human machinations that we get into, or these little worries like, oh, am I going to be able to find parking? Like just like these ridiculous things, you know. And then like I'll experience these little surprises that, you know, I see a friend suddenly, or, you know, like that story I was telling you, like, oh, I like that word dulcimer, and then suddenly someone gives me a dulcimer. Like like it's not just about the person who gives it, but also that feeling of like, I feel loved in that moment, that like that there's this force that just wants to delight us in a way that reminds us, you know, that it's there all the time to support us.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my other realization, exactly, which is that it's you realize that you are not just you. Like you're not alone. You're not even just left to yourself in this world. You and your fellow beings on this earth. There is a higher power, and this higher power is not just a silent power. It is more than alive. It's looking after you, and it's there for you. It's much, much bigger than you, and yet you are a part of it. That realization is it just changes your perspective. Yeah, that's really. I'm struggling to put words to my thought, but that's the beauty of it. It's so vast, and words are not enough to describe it. So.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't have to keep attempting to describe it, but I think it is worth asking the question: why is it important to open ourselves to that? Why is that an important part of our journey in Sahaja Yoga? Like, how would you answer that?
You know, we start with self-realization in Sahaja Yoga, and by the way, which is often the end goal of, which has been the end goal of many other paths since time and since the history of spirituality. To us in Sahaja Yoga, it's kind of flipped in the sense that the self-realization is the starting point and not the end. So we get that pretty easily, so to speak. And then with time, we also experience thoughtless awareness. But what is beyond that? And how do you sustain that growth? How do we, because as Shri Mataji has described, we, even though we get this awakening, we get this connection, it's only a few strands of the Kundalini in the beginning. But we still have to work on it. We have to expand and strengthen our chakras and develop those qualities and we have the advantage of that connection as we go about this expansion. And the love of the divine is crucial in that aspect of growth, because you have this connection now, and you are leveraging that to grow each of your chakras, and especially the heart. And the heart and the brain connection is one of the key dimensions of our growth. It's not, some of us feel, the thoughtless awareness is there, of course, but to really feel that love in the divine is to open another dimension, which just accelerates your growth in every other way. Things start happening much more spontaneously around you. You become much more one with the universe, so to speak. So to get into that rhythm, to become really one with the Param Chaitanya, with this universal unconscious, the love of the divine is, and to feel it and to grow in it is absolutely important. And yeah, that's, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I connect so strongly with this kind of the surprise of this flipping around, like, wait, I've already got my self-realization, the thing that people went to the Himalayas for and, hung out in, standing on their heads or in cold water, went through so many ascetic difficulties just to achieve this. And now I've got it. Now what? And for me, it was, my parents practiced Sahaja yoga even before I was born, and I grew up with it. And, from my earliest childhood, I had an understanding that I had already received this initial experience of self-realization. And so this question of like, what's next from here, especially if you're in school, you're like, okay, first grade, second grade, like, what's like second grade of Sahaja yoga?
Yeah,
and of
what's
course,
next?
yeah, because we're used to something that proceeds in a linear way, right?
Yeah.
But Sahaja yoga is like a spiral motion where we are returning to the same mantras and the same chakras, but going deeper each time. And what is the texture of that depth? It's integrating that peace that we feel in the morning when we sit down to meditate into our daily life, into the way we operate in even the most challenging circumstances. And Shri Mataji spoke in that talk about someone like Mahatma Gandhi or Abraham Lincoln. They were not living easy lives. Like, they were in these really challenging circumstances. And to have that love that much in your heart, that you're receiving it so strongly all the time that you can emanate it to others, that's really what's next.
Mm-hmm.
And the piece for me that I feel like I'm coming to, like right now in my journey with Sahaja yoga, is like realizing that God and that divine energy is there for us very closely, like in the intimate details, in the moments, over the breakfast dishes, not only when you're standing on the mountaintop, like having a crisis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's like, it's such a revelation for me that even as I'm just like worrying about this detail, that in that moment I can surrender that. I think I had a misconception that I had to only be like asking for the divine's love or opening myself to that when things have gotten really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I found is that I was wasting a lot of time worrying,
Mm-hmm.
or stressing, or even though like every morning I'm experiencing that peace, but somehow I think like, okay, now the peace time is done and now I'm scheduled to worry from 10 o'clock to 11. It's like, what? Like, the image that comes to me, Shri Mataji's spoken about this in talks about how, like, you know, receiving your self-realization is like being crowned like some king of a beautiful kingdom, and you have all of this wealth of, you know, this palace, you know, available to you. And then we end up sitting on the throne thinking we're still a beggar and being like, excuse me, could you help me?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
we're covered in like this golden,
Yeah.
you know, so we have to be receptive to that, you know, kingdom that we've entered into.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's people and masters in all traditions, and of course, scriptures have talked about it, and Shri Mataji has talked about it, that there comes a point where you truly become the instrument of the divine, and it's not really about you. And you start manifesting those powers that are awakened in you, that are there in you. But to have the confidence to let that happen, you need to feel the love of the divine. You need to have that realization that that divine power is flowing through you. It's not you, but who's doing it, but it's flowing through you, and you're able to enjoy it. And it's flowing through you because you have finally opened yourself up to that amazing possibility, to that power, and you feel that oneness, that now you're connected. You're part of this universe. You're part of everything that you can and cannot see with your eyes. So, and then, like I said, you know, wonderful, amazing, miraculous things start to happen in very positive ways. Somebody became healed, or a situation just turned, a very difficult situation just turned around, and in a very spontaneous way became, you know, got resolved. You know, there's lots of these everyday examples. And
Do you have an example from your life by any chance?
So hard to just remember one, but one that I can think of is not so much like a practical daily life example, but more of overcome what we call as catches in Sahaja Yoga. So a catch, if anyone is unfamiliar with it, is the term that we use to describe some sort of a hindrance or some obstacle that we feel on a particular chakra. If there is some imbalance, or if there is some energy blockage, let's say, and you can feel it sometimes, it maybe as a dull pain, or it's sort of blocking your you know, the flow of energy. And some of these, sometimes a catch can be stubborn, and your regular treatments or mantras aren't, you know, you're not able to get rid of that catch with those techniques. So when I was struggling with one such an issue, it came to a point where I sort of threw up my hands literally and said, I can't do this, you solve this. And it took me a while to get there, to open up myself to that possibility that the divine takes care of this for me. And it just happened. It just like I could feel that the catch is just losing its strength. The whatever was blocking me on that chakra, and this is actually and this is how now I respond to catches. I don't try to remove it. I avoid trying to think that I am trying to remove it, because the more I do it, I get into this tug of war, and it becomes it just becomes more of a reality. I'm actually acknowledging its existence, so to speak. But when you learn to surrender and let the divine take over and just witness it, it's like miraculous how it works. It just, you can see it losing its strength, where that divine energy starts to flow again, and the coolness comes back. So that's one way in which I guess I have experienced this. and do experience it quite regularly. Yeah, so
That's so cool. It's so cool because you had that initial experience and now you have it and you're like, oh, I know what to do now.
yeah.
I feel like it's similar for me. Like once I figure out the thing that I still think I can muscle, then I can let go of it and receive the help and receive the love in that realm, you know? And then I think one of the earliest spaces that I learned to just let go and receive that love is in the space of making art, um, or being an instrument for creativity. Like it just flows in such an enjoyable way in that realm. But then in the realm of, I don't know, school, or actually for me, like in kind of leadership positions where, I'm in a position of helping to run actually a theater company started by Shri Mataji here in America. And I used to get myself like tied up in knots, like the organizing of it, the illusion that I'm in charge and I have to, make sure that something happens and there's a schedule and a budget. And it was pressing all my buttons of thinking I had to do something. And over, I would have these experiences of kind of being brought to a point where I had to let go. It's like that thing of you're working on the couch and it's like getting worse as you go. You're like, what is this? And then there's a moment where you're just like, okay, I give up. Like, you do it. Like, let me just receive this love. And then in that moment, you get lifted and it works. And it's such a relief. And I think one of the things you mentioned is that it's so spontaneous. That's the hallmark of letting it operate, because if we're trying to control it instead of flowing with it, like kind of riding the wave of it, then it doesn't work. Because living things flow. You can organize little Legos in the corner, but it's not alive, But the image that comes to me is like a tree, it grows really tall, but the way it does is by this just receptivity of the leaves to the sunlight. And that all they want to do is receive. They're just arranging themselves to receive. And in the process of that, you get this amazing tree that's like grown to this amazing height.
Oh, yeah, that's a wonderful, it's not even a metaphor, because it's an actual representation of how life is. So,
We just have to be like, let me receive, and then we'll grow.
That's perfect. Yeah. What wonderful observation, because the leaves are just there, just opening themselves up to the energy.
You don't see those leaves making to-do lists and being
exactly. And yet look at the organization of the whole tree, and every leaf is organized in a way that it gets just enough sunlight, and is spaced in just the right manner. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like an organization that comes from joy, like, let me reach for something, rather than an organization that comes from, like, I don't know, our brains kind of pressing down on us. So if we organize from here, from the heart, then we arrange ourselves.
If each leaf were to try and organize itself and other leaves, it wouldn't have worked.
It's like a Pixar movie. Imagine the leaves being like, you stand over there. So
beautiful. Thanks for those questions and leading this conversation. It's definitely nice to share experience and see how so much is in parallel with others who are meditating and having sort of parallel streams of growth, and we tend to learn from each other that way. So thank you.
Thank you. It's so nice to chat. I agree. It's like, we're finding that we're all on this shared journey.
It's like one leaf sharing with the other.
This is going to become our thing, the leaves. All right. Well, for anyone who's still listening, I think we're going to have some music now. But we'll wish you a very lovely, peaceful, absorbent, receptive evening. Good night, all.
Thank you all. Good night. Bye-bye.